So,
in certain ways.
you know, if you ask me, was gender ever an issue? I would say yes,
Mm.
at times.
Mhm.
But sometimes I think we need to just move on from it
I
and
agree.
not make it a federal case.
Sure.
Okay. When I had my daughter, I was working at Trustee and Upside. And, one of my board members said, "Oh, are you going to come back to work after you have the baby?" And I'm just like, "Did you go back to work after your wife had the baby?" I mean, it's like, what
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would ask that question now, but, I could have fought and said my smart ass comment, but, you just said, "Yeah, I'm going to come back," and just let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, sexual harassment is different from older guys making a comment that
Sure.
is probably perfectly, you know,
Is that
appropriate back in the day.
Mhm.
So you can't be overly sensitive. You got to kind of keep your eye on the ball. I find,
Mhm.
when people get upset, I always tell them, is it a major problem? Is it a minor problem? And this is advice that I got from my manager when I was on Maui working on the Marriott, because I would be so upset because they didn't put their initials, that they, completed this work. And my boss just said, "Susan, is it major or is it minor? You got to just let the small things go and focus on the major problems."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, wow, duh." It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And so I try and do that. So, you can always find somebody who might make an inappropriate joke or,
Right.
say something racially or gender discriminative.
Right.
Um, but I would say, you know, unless it's a real habit consistency type thing, if you can just talk it out, talk it out.
Right.
Just maybe they don't even know, right?